I was invited to the Game Awards this year. Let's talk about it. Greetings, gaming citizens. MCM Mike here. The Game Awards is one of my favorite gaming events, and it's a time for us to celebrate the greatest in gaming from this year. Even if a game we really liked wasn't nominated for an award, we can still reflect on all the memories we made through the games we played this year. This year was special for me, though, because I was invited to watch the Game Awards live in person this year. Now, before we get on with the entire video, I'm sure you're wondering how this opportunity came about. I'll try to summarize my chaotic story as quickly as possible, but if you want to skip to the actual meat of the video, go to the timestamp that's on this video right now. The way I managed to get an invite to the awards was almost complete luck. Last year, Jeff Keighley hosted several Zoom calls with fans of the Game Awards, bringing special guests to most meetings. He announced this on Twitter, and I decided to join because I thought it would be pretty fun. And it was. The week that I joined the Zoom calls was when voice actor Troy Baker was the special guest, so it was really cool to listen to him talk. Everyone figured these were to help make the Game Awards in 2020 as good as possible since COVID was at its peak at the time. But apparently that's not the entire story. Fast forward to November 21st of this year, I get an email from Jeff Keighley. It thanks me for joining the Zoom calls, and it was an official invitation to the Game Awards in Los Angeles. The awards were 2 weeks out at this point, so I was surprised they sent this when they did. It was very short notice. I started freaking out in my college dorm, and I filled in my info as soon as possible to get a chance at a ticket to the awards. What I had to do was just reply to the email with my name and preferred email for contact, and upload my vaccine card to a third-party website so that they could verify my proof of vaccination. Simple enough, I do this all on my phone and send everything right away. And here is where the conflict begins. November 28th. I hadn't heard much about my ticket, so I checked my sent folder in Gmail to make sure my information actually went through. My phone never sent the contact information. I'm in a panic at this point. I'm about to freak out, and I'm 99% positive I lost my chance to go to the Game Awards because my contact info wasn't sent from my phone. I sent an email asking if they can make an exception for me since my vaccine info was still verified. Roughly a day passes, and in this 24 hours, I'm about to break down in my college dorm, but I get an email from the Game Awards Health and Safety team. They were able to make an exception for me and put me back on the list. I flew out to LA that Wednesday, and that's where my adventure begins. Without further ado, here's my trip to the Game Awards. Alright, I can finally get this vlog on the road. So after what felt like years at TSA, we're finally in the airport. I'm just collecting a couple things for the plane. It's going to be a 6-hour flight to LAX. I had to choose some magazines. There's one for Spirited Away on it, so I might pick that up. I saw that movie recently. Yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of bit of waiting. Got about a half hour before they start boarding. So I don't know, I'll probably do the cliche, like 5-second taking off clip that pretty much every person on YouTube does. So, see you then. Let me tell you, that flight felt like the longest 6 hours of my life. We were airborne by about 10:30 a.m. my time, and I was somewhat sleep deprived at this point, because my dad likes to plan the way he does, we actually left my house at about 5 to get to the airport, and we were at the airport by like 6. After TSA, which, as you know, is a lengthy process, we basically had an hour and a half to do nothing but wait, so you can imagine how badly I wanted to sleep on this flight. However, in the words of one of my friends, never plan to sleep on a plane, because you won't. To keep me busy, I brought my Switch and a few games, those being Smash, The Wonderful 101 Remastered, and Animal Crossing. I figured I'd bring The Wonderful 101 Remastered since I haven't finished the story yet, and I thought it'd be nice to play through if I was bored enough. In hindsight, I wish I also had my laptop so I could work on the emulation video, but it's whatever. Plus, I was oddly entertained by the flight path channel on the plane's TV screen, so When I wasn't playing games, I was messing around with this thing. I didn't have to wait long to meet someone from the industry, because in my hotel lobby were 2 people with Game Awards badges. Turns out the guy in the white shirt was representing Verizon, a sponsor of the show. But the woman was Aerial Powers, who I later discovered is a streamer with Team Liquid and is a professional WNBA basketball player, which I thought was super cool. Barely even an hour into Los Angeles and I'm already meeting these big names. Most of the day was just getting settled into my hotel and all that boring travel stuff. But that night, I was chatting with the Keeley Crew Discord and we all decided to meet up at City Walk at Universal Studios. For those not in the know, the Keeley Crew is a group of people that joined the Zoom calls with Jeff, and we have our own Discord server. As of the recording of this video, the server is open to people who were not in the calls, so feel free to join by using the link down below. Tell them MCN Mike sent ya. So anyway, a few of us meet outside one of the hotels and call an Uber to get to City Walk, and the next few hours were magical. Or I guess that would be Disney. Anyway, the Keeley Crew had successfully invaded City Walk with about 6 members strong. I've never even heard of this part of Universal Studios, so to see this was super neat. City Walk is basically a shopping strip full of merchandise from various films like Jaws, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, and so on. I even had an encounter with a certain dragon who you might be familiar with. Look at this! I found Boneless from How to Manage Your Lizard. That's the name? After exploring the shopping districts, we all head to one of the restaurants on the shopping strip and just chat about games and where we're all from. Let me just say that this is one of the most wholesome experiences I've ever had. All 6 of us came from completely different parts of the country and different walks of life, and we had only known each other prior on Discord. Yet here we are, all at a table chatting like we've known each other for years. This goes to show that gaming can truly bring people together, and this sense of unity is what I strive to create in this industry, so this was a great experience all around. After we finished having our fun at the restaurant, we took one last picture and Ubered back to the hotels and turned in for the night. All of us were thrilled for the next day, as it was going to be one of the biggest days of our lives. Thursday morning rolls around, and I'm chilling in the hotel lobby. It just so happens that the hotel I'm staying at is where the industry people roam around, so I was in the perfect spot to network. Alright, so I'm currently at the Marriott, in the lobby again. I'm at the bar area. Supposedly a bunch of industry professionals are flying in today, so I'm kind of just scouting around to see if I can make any connections. I saw someone that worked on Chivalry 2 walking around, so I might say hi to them. Apparently Joseph Fares is supposed to fly in today, which I'm very excited about. If you've seen the Game Awards, you know how great Joseph Fares is. So I'm really hoping to meet the legend himself. I also picked up some G Fuel, because the best part about being in LA, this stuff is everywhere. So I picked up a can of Fazeberry, picked up a can of Chug Rug for tomorrow morning, because this is like my cup of coffee. So yeah, it's really just a waiting game until the awards begins. I'm supposed to be there at 3 p.m. local time. I tell you, the time zone difference is messing with my head. I went to sleep at like 10 last night, 10 local time, which is 1 a.m. on my side of the country. It's weird. Like, I have a crap sleep schedule on the East Coast because I'm up till like 1 or 2 a.m. But the equivalent of that on the West Coast, it's actually like a reasonable bedtime. So, I find that pretty funny. So, I'm gonna drink up some G Fuel. Gonna see if any industry people are hanging out. Meet some people. If you're following my socials, you'll probably see pictures and all that. We're not allowed to record in the venue or around the venue, so this might be the last you hear from me, unless if something crazy happens. And if something does happen, I'll take a picture, I'll have a voiceover. But yeah, it's award show time. I'll see you wherever I record next. At this point, a minute feels like forever. Me and the boys are just counting down to 2:30 p.m. when we're all meeting up to walk to the venue. I'm an impatient little bitch, so I head down at 2 p.m. because I just can't f***ing contain myself.
Alright, it is about 2 p.m. local time. We are supposed to be at the venue at about 3. I'm all dressed up. I'm wearing my University's Gaming Club t-shirt so I can try to represent the school. Connections I've made so far, I met someone who does connections for esports, so I'm hoping to support my university's esports by possibly talking to them. And then I met the guys who worked on Chivalry 2. Some of them are there. So I met them. Pretty nice guys. And yeah, so I'm gonna be at the bar for the next half hour. Then I'm meeting up with the Keeley crew from Discord. Shout out to you guys, by the way. You guys are awesome. Gonna take some pictures, and then we're off to the show. So I'm not allowed to record in front of the building, not allowed to record in the building, so I won't be able to get my reactions on camera, but I'll be recording after the show, just giving my thoughts on what happened, because whatever you see on the live stream, remember that I'm gonna be there live, so I'll be able to talk about it in hindsight, which is gonna be awesome. So, it's almost showtime, my big debut. Things are happening. I'm scared. I'm not gonna be on stage, but I'm scared that I'm gonna be in front of like 7,000 people. So, I'll see you guys later.
The time has come. We're here. It's now hit me that I am at the Game Awards, and I walk in the venue with probably the most hype I've ever contained in my body before. I thought I was gonna explode. Me and the boys are standing around, basically frozen with excitement because we're all shocked that we were even invited, much less standing in the theater that this is happening in. Before we all head inside, we took a picture of the entire Keeley crew that we met. We were 16 strong and ready to bring the hype. This picture is special though, because Jeff actually tweeted this out, so if this is what makes me famous, hi Mom. Since we were all fairly early, it turns out we were able to take pictures and do stuff right before the show, even exploring the venue. So I had a little fun with the fact that I could stand right in front of the stage. I took pictures for social media and my inevitably jealous friends, and even recorded a dumb little video because I thought this would be funny.
Hello, welcome to the Game Awards. I'm not your host, I'm just a gamer. This is the stage, I'm not even nominated. I don't even know what I'm doing here, but I'm here and that's what it's all about.
Before the show starts, special guests walk in, and of course, being the social butterfly I tend to be sometimes, I start meeting people. The first of these folks was Sydney Goodman, who does the pre-show. I happened to spot her walking past me, and I decided to meet her. She was so nice, and we had a chat about travel since I flew in from across the country. It was really nice to meet someone who's usually in front of the camera at the show, so I'm glad I said hi when I did. I don't have a picture of this, but I also met the guys from Mercury Steam. If you haven't heard of them, they are the developers of Metroid Dread, which was nominated for a couple of categories, including Game of the Year. I immediately knew who they were because of their Metroid shirts, which I thought looked really cool. I have a chat with those guys, and we talk a little bit about Dread. They asked me if I've played it, and I told them that it's on my radar, and that I love the demo. So I guess this means I'm obligated to do a playthrough of Metroid Dread soon. Do you want to see that? Let me know in the comments down below. In all seriousness, they were such nice people, and I'm honored to have met them. I wish them luck on their nominations, and finally, I take my seat. So the show happens. Every world premiere, I can feel the hype in the room. The raw energy that was in that theater was insane. I truly felt like I was the conductor of the metaphorical hype train. To give you an idea of where I was, here's a map of the Microsoft Theater. This was my seat. I gotta say, that was some incredible real estate in the theater. In the front row of my section was Doug Bowser from Nintendo, and a few rows directly in front of me was Donald Mustard from Epic Games. Also, diagonally across from me was Maggie Robertson, who won Best Performance for her voice work as Lady Dimitrescu in Resident Evil Village. After the show, I immediately got up to walk around and chat with some special guests and some friends. One of the people I got to meet was none other than Joseph Fares. Yes, Mr. F*** the Oscars himself. Forget Smash Ultimate, This was truly the biggest crossover in history. Of course, I congratulate him on winning Game of the Year, but in general, Joseph was such a chill dude to talk to. Not long after meeting him, I meet two big industry people. The first was Doug Bowser from Nintendo. I'm trying to contain myself as I tell him that I grew up with Nintendo since I was a kid, and that I'm incredibly thankful for what he's done for the industry and for Nintendo. I'm sure he's heard this a million times over, but I'm honored to have met him. You can bet that was on my bucket list. The other big industry person I met was Phil Spencer from Xbox. I'm sure you're wondering why I even bothered to say hi, despite not really acknowledging Xbox ever. Yes, it is true that I have little to no affinity with Xbox at all, but I wanted to meet Phil Spencer because I think he's just a really cool person. He's not the kind of business executive to be very uptight and all of that. He feels like more of a genuine figure in the industry, which I can appreciate. Of course, I couldn't leave without taking a picture with the Keeley crew inside the theater. This is most of the gang that I hung out with that day, including the people that I met the day before. I love all these good noodles, they were all so fun to hang out with. Usually I'd shout out usernames, but I don't want their DMs to blow up or anything, so take my word for it that you're all great. You know who you are. After grabbing some food with the Keeley crew, a few of us head into the Marriott lobby, where a couple hundred industry people are roaming around and chatting. In this pool of chaos, I happen to find the physical embodiment of chaos herself, Victoria Tran from the Among Us crew. If you haven't heard of her, she runs the social media account for Among Us. I found a few threads where I've chatted with her, so it was awesome to meet her in person. I asked if she remembered one thread where she and I geeked out over Let's Player Chugga Conroy, considering that we both watch him, and she instantly recognized me after that, which I thought was really funny. Probably the biggest highlight from our conversation was when I was jokingly saying that she's not a profile picture and that she's an actual person. And she responded with, "Yeah, I'm not a profile picture. I have legs." Her chaotic energy was amazing in person. So shoutouts to you, Victoria. I don't have a picture of this, but I also met Reggie Fils-Aimé, who you almost certainly know as the previous president of Nintendo of America. We got to have a short chat with him, and it was mostly about accessibility in games and how gaming is the most popular entertainment industry. So I thought it was really nice to talk to an industry veteran about accessibility in the industry. So I told him what I do, and we all just introduced ourselves, but he was a wonderful person, even if we only got to talk for a couple minutes. He had to catch an early flight the next day, so I didn't want to hold him up for too long. Okay. So there's one more highlight from the show that I want to talk about. This image. Let me tell you about this moment when it was happening. So at this point, they just played a new trailer for Sonic 2, the movie. We were all clapping because it was a great trailer. Right after that, they play a pre-recorded video from Jim Carrey where he's just doing Jim Carrey things and shaking the camera. Taken aback by the energy of Jim Carrey, I start applauding. While this is happening, I notice a camera pointing in my general direction from my periphery. I figured they were highlighting a game developer sitting near me or something, so I just keep, doing my thing. A minute later, my phone buzzes. The buzzing continues for about 10 minutes. It was at that moment that I realized I was on stream. My face was broadcast to tens of millions of people. The only reason that I knew what happened is that I glanced at my phone to figure out why my thigh was vibrating like an earthquake, and I see a message that says, "Mike at the Game Awards" in all caps. I got 89 total pings from that one night, which is the most I've ever seen at once in my entire life. I guess this is what it feels like to be famous? But no, that wasn't the entire story, because I was on stream again! Yes, right before they showed the Elden Ring trailer, they brought this pot friend on stage that hands a note to Jeff. Even though it's LA and pretty much everyone has a pot friend, but I'm sure this is a different circumstance. I found the whole thing to be fairly humorous, so I'm laughing in my seat while clapping, and it turns out that moment was captured live. So, does this mean I'm famous? I feel like it does. In all seriousness, it was beyond legendary to be featured on the stream. Not even just in the back where I'm like a couple pixels and it's like, oh, there I am, I think. I was the literal focus for a solid couple seconds. That's legendary. This entire experience will go down as one of the best days of my life, and I want to thank Jeff Keighley and his team for giving me the chance to witness one of gaming's biggest events in person. I guess the next goal is to present an award at the Game Awards. Jeff, my DMs are open. Say what you will about the Game Awards, but I personally had an incredible time this year. Meeting people from Discord, hanging out with industry icons, and being there for one of the biggest nights in gaming is something I never thought I'd do. Multiple dreams came true in those few days, and I'm so grateful to have gone. Was there something I didn't talk about that you really wanted to know about? Was there an aspect of the show you wanted to hear my thoughts on? Do you want to know what Phil Spencer smells like? I can answer most of those questions if you talk to me live when I'm on Twitch. Link is in the description down below. And I recommend subscribing so you don't miss stream VODs and other things gaming from me. That's going to be it from me. Now, if you excuse me, I have to go preach about how Balan Wonderworld was robbed for Game of the Year.